There is a subtle underlying feature of subversiveness that can be found within Past Lives that can be easily overlooked as the film's lack of action, romance, and passionate love affairs can make this film seem uneventful or dull without proper reflection. Upon watching Past Lives for the first time, I couldn't help but feel there was a lack of vitality or substance throughout. Past Lives is a quiet film, and a tender one at that. My initial feelings towards the film had me afraid whatever was to come from the narrative going into its final stretch would leave little impact or significance on me. But as the film drew on, and I really listened to the things said and the things that were left unsaid, I realized I couldn't be more wrong. Centering around the lives of two Korean characters, Nora and Hae Sung, who have been separated as childhood friends, as Nora leaves Korea for Canada, leaving Hae Sung to grow up only with fond memories of her, before finally connecting with her again through social media 12 years later. Keeping in touch over the years, Nora and Hae Sung's lives differ dramatically. Nora makes a move to New York to pursue writing, while Hae Sung remains in Korea, furthering his career and dating around, although unfulfilled and longing for Nora to be in his life again. Nora, on the other hand, meets another writer named Arthur, and they get married quickly after that, as it assists with Nora's green card into a permanent resident status of America. 8 years pass, and Hae Sung decides to visit New York to see Nora again, despite knowing she is now married. And this is where the narrative begins to get more interesting. We anticipate tensions to arise here, as we now have a love triangle on our hands. And there is some. Arthur lets Nora know his feelings about Hae Sung wanting to meet with her. He is transparent, but his approach isn't through anger or jealousy or disapproval. He accepts it, does his best to understand it, and he permits it. He states it makes him feel like an evil American husband standing in the way of her destiny, which pertains to what we would see in Hollywood movies involving love triangles of this sort, an anticipated and cliched concept, but that's not what plays out here. Instead, we get emotional maturity and healthy communication. Nora affirms to Arthur that she loves him, and her friend from her past isn't going to change anything. And this is the beginning of the subversiveness I wanted to showcase here. Within the stillness, the tenderness, and the slowness of this film, we find an antithesis to traditional Hollywood norms of love and romance, and all the expected gimmicks that films of this genre were full of. Here, instead, the female gaze and realism win over an idealized and male-centric view where women are seen as objects to win or claim, offering little in the way of autonomy and agency for female protagonists and their pursuits outside of love. The point is that this isn't so much a romantic movie as one may expect it to be. We could expect Nora to take Hae Sung with open arms and leave behind her husband of 8 years, but we don't get that. That's irrational, and it goes against Nora's character. She says it herself. She's been hard at work on her career, and won't just give it up for some guy she knew from the past. Nora has gone years treading her own path forward, making a life for herself that brings her fulfillment. Hae Sung knows this and respects her for it, and with his time in New York coming to an end, they both come away with an understanding there is no place for each other in either of their lives. To Nora, Hae Sung represents a piece of her past that was left behind after she left Korea, and Hae Sung is in love with the memories he has of Nora, the nostalgia of her being ever present in his memory. Referring to a Korean belief of a concept called Inyun, about people being connected through the course of many past lives, Hae Sung suggests that what if they are currently in a past life and they will be something more in their next life? Hae Sung refers to Nora as his Inyun a number of times through the film, and this thought of his is heartbreaking. This is definitely a melancholic and bittersweet idea for them, and it's here where they say their goodbyes and part ways, very well being their last moment together in person for the rest of their lives. We experience an emotional maturity with this film that strays from Hollywood norms. No happily ever after blossoming between these two characters, as much as them just representing where they've both come from. Where we could expect high conflict and drama or a passionate love affair, we instead get level-headed, mature, and open communication between the three protagonists over the course of the movie. Here, instead, we see love through the female gaze. We see a woman with her own agency and autonomy. We see healthy communication and emotional maturity. This film subverts our expectations throughout, and I see it as a breath of fresh air for the genre. Past Lives is a film by Celine Song, starring Greta Lee, Tio Yu, and John Magaro, and I truly feel it did something special.